YouTube family! My name is Alicia English.
And I'm Philip English.
Welcome back to our channel. We have another full day of camper renovation today. I think this is episode 35 and we are cooking up some new things in the camper today.
Ooh, I like that, cooking it up. So this camper we know is a 1986, and although the appliances look as old as I do, I think we can, because the fan works and the stove works, if we just give it a little facelift, they'll be brand new again.
I think it's going to be a good addition to get these appliances done and in the camper. I know we're not doing any traveling in this immediate moment, but I would really like to get these things cleaned up and put back in the camper. I also have a fridge that I've been ignoring because my original plan with the fridge didn't quite work out as planned based on the weather, and so I need to get that finished up as well. So we are going to do a little bit of a appliance restore today. I actually attempted to paint the fridge handle already in a gold, and the paint is peeling off, and I was really not that happy with it, and so I decided to sand it, make sure that it was super smooth. And now that I'm actually getting the kitchen put into place, I'm questioning whether or not I even want a gold handle, because I think that I might actually be able to restore the stove without painting it white, just leaving it matching the faucet and the sink that are in the kitchen instead of doing the front of the stove white like I originally thought I was going to. And so I'm going to do a little bit more white on this fridge and get it completely crisp, and then I'll be able to see if I can get the stove super clean, and if I can, then I think I'm going to leave the stove stainless, so that I don't want to have a gold handle on this fridge here. So I'm just going to paint it white for now and see if I like the overall look once it's all white. We're pretty lucky that all of the appliances work in the camper, but that doesn't mean that they look glamorous. And so we actually have the top of the stove that needs a lot of love and cleaning and scrubbing. There's a lot of grime on here from previous owners, as well as a little bit of rust. And then we also have the overhead fan that has quite a lot of rust on it that's definitely going to need to be painted. I want to see if I can get all of the rust off before I do any restore on these to be able to give them a better look. But I'm going to use actually a product. A company sent this to me a long time ago, Metal Rescue. I've never really had any trouble removing rust from any metal projects. I don't really do a lot of metal project work, and so I don't really know if this is going to work or not, but I thought, I have this product sample laying around, I thought I would try it, see if I can remove as much rust as I can before I put on my rust coat paint job on these items. So we're gonna get scrubbing and degriming these disgusting appliances. There's like 40 years of gross grime on this. It's so bad.
Is it rust or is it grime?
This stuff that's coming off right now, I think before I can even get to the rust, it's just grime. So you can see where I've already scrubbed. And then this is just slimy, like stuck on waxy grime that's clearly never been washed before. So gross. Like, look at the difference just with this one section. I'll dry it off so you can see. Like, look at the difference in the color just doing that. Now, obviously, I can't keep it with the rust showing, but I'll be able to put some of the rust product on once I get the grime off.
Filling up this bin with water and a bunch of that Metal Rescue, and we're gonna let it sit in there for about an hour and then maybe turn the burners around and see if that does any difference.
This top part I'm gonna get clean, but it doesn't really matter that there's a whole lot of rust on there. I'm gonna put the rust prevention on it so it doesn't get any worse. This is gonna be up underneath, pressed up against the underside of the countertop or cover top anyways. So really just wanna get all the areas clean that I need to paint. I'm going to use this Tremclad high heat enamel paint to be able to do the fan since it's going above the stove. And then so I've got it all completely scraped off, degrimed. I did just like a really light buff sand. And then I'm just gonna use this spray. I don't know how many coats. I've never actually used a high heat enamel before. And I am gonna go over the knob and everything. I don't need to worry so much about the top, just all of the sides here that are going to be exposed. I'll wait for it to dry and then I'll flip it over to do the underside. decided that we need to actually insert the stove back just about a 1/2 inch because it's just sitting up just a tiny bit from the back and not actually going quite as flush as we think we'd like it along the counter here. And so what we're going to do is make a mark along either side here so that we can actually cut just a tiny spot out of the countertop there, being able to push this back just that little tiny bit. I think it's okay the way that it is, and this is actually how it was sitting originally, but we think we can actually just shuffle it back just a tiny bit so we don't have as much of an overhang on this side. I think it'll be better that way. So we've just left a mark, and then what we're going to do is use some tape to seam the actual topping of the countertop laminate and use the jigsaw and just make a little cutout so we can actually push this back a little bit. We're gonna get this out so we can actually really clean this because the top is pretty grimy. The inside is just super dusty, but it really doesn't look like they've really ever used it. So we have a lot of exterior cleaning to do on the stove. We're gonna get this out of here. Shining her up.
Doing my best trying to get the grime off, and we're gonna see, and hopefully we can get it with no rust, and hopefully it's just grime and we can get it back to its original look.
We're close enough anyways, because it would be a shame to enamel paint this when we do have a stainless steel stove, right?
They don't make them like they used to.
They don't.
I know that.
I think a little bit of love and elbow grease and we can get this in pretty good shape. Can you see yourself yet? We're removing all the grime and using a little bit of steel wool on some of the spots that had a higher rust area. And so I actually just did a quick cover over on this side, and I'm really happy with the way I was able to get it off in comparison to what it looked like that side. So I'm gonna do a little bit more on this side. I'll show you how easily this rust is actually coming off. We're gonna get this thing in great shape in no time.
So satisfying watch it turn from just disgusting old 1986 rust bucket to beautiful shiny steel.
It will when we get it all done. While we're waiting for paint to dry, we're going to cut out those little sections on the countertop that we need to remove in order to push the stove back into place, the spots that we want it. So we're just going to use the jigsaw to be able to do it. So we've used the tape and press it down firmly so that we can hope that it won't pull up any excess of the laminate top. Sometimes when you cut countertops and you don't cut them upside down, you get some chipping. But I think that we should be okay. We've taped it off. It seemed to work when we did the other part of our project. So we're just going to fingers crossed that we don't really have a lot of chipping.
Perfect.
Yay, no chipping.
Perfect.
Tape trick. It works.
Tape trick. You won't see that. That's perfect. I was more worried about this side.
Yeah, this side's going to be covered with the top of the stove. So we did have a tiny little bit of chipping on this side, but you really won't see it because it's going to overlap. And then this side we didn't get anywhere. You're going to actually see it more on the access part from the stove and fridge side, or sink side here. So, and then we still have some gorgeous blue tape across the windows there. I need to do the inside part, finish it up, get the tape off. I think these appliances look great. I almost forgot what they look like in the camper because we've had them out. The fridge is a huge fridge to have in a camper, but we're going to use this one for a little while. It came with the camper, it works. We can upgrade later on to something that's more of a camper fridge, but we're going to be doing some framing to case this in, just because the person that actually cut the hole did a really hack job being able to do that. And so I want to put some nice white framework around to really finish that off. We got the stove looking amazing. We are still soaking this underneath part here in the bucket to be able to give it a little bit more time, but we've gotten the top, inside, and the whole front here pretty clean. We're still gonna maybe add a little bit of a silver polish to it. Philip has this like magic polish that we can rub all over it and make it like really, really shiny, so we'll probably still do that. Need to get the sink all polished up, and we still have some painting and some cabinetry stuff to finish here. And then we need to do our caulking and stuff around in the kitchen space. But it is coming together so well. I'm so pleased with it. And I'm really happy that we were able to get almost all of the rust off of this stove so that I don't spray it with the white enamel. I think it's great that we have a stainless steel stove. And like Philip said, they just don't make them like they used to. So I'm thrilled to have it this way.
Oh, and the cut on the side.
Oh yes, and now our stove is actually back into place where it's supposed to be and doesn't stick out a couple of inches. The markings that Philip cut with the jigsaw were perfect. Now it's inset back. I think it'll be adorable if I put like a little rack back here or on the side. I'm just envisioning all the things getting back in the kitchen space, but I'm not quite at that point yet. So I'm really excited. I think it looks great. Let us know in the comment section what you think. I think it was a good idea that I just whitewashed the handle. Didn't worry about it being gold since this isn't going to be our forever fridge, and then just leaving the stove silver. My original plan was to heat white paint it to match everything, but I think it looks really good. It gives it some character also that it's still that original vintage stove. We need to change out these light fixtures now. We've still got a little bit of 1986 in here, but I think it looks great. Whew. After all of that gross appliance scrubbing today, I'm not sure which one of us is gonna get in the shower first. We're gonna be fighting for the shower today because it is just like, oh, when it's your own grime, it's different than when it's previous owner grime. So it was pretty gross. That stove was pretty awful.
Yeah, when you said this morning that we were gonna do a little bit of elbow grease, I didn't know you actually meant grease.
Physical grease, yeah. We couldn't even get the rust off because the grease was coated so thick on top of the rust that we had to get rid of all the grime first, which is really gross that the rust remover wouldn't even eat through the grime that was on top of it.
It was repelling it. It was just bubbling it up. Yeah.
So we still have the inside of that stove soaking. We're going to keep rotating it and then be able to get that finished up. It's a little bit of a tedious job getting everything off, but the burners look great. The black burners, we got those all perfect. And then the inside slot part where all the burners go on top is just getting, it had so much rust on it. So I think we've gotten it pretty good, but we're just leaving it a little bit longer, making sure that it's perfect because I think it looks really good. So we're going to get the rest of this completely shined up and keep working on the kitchen space, and then we'll be getting to some of the upholstery for the kitchen dinette area, which I'm really excited about. So thank you guys so much for being part of our journey. Let us know in the comment section what you think, how the kitchen's turning out, and we will see you guys on tomorrow's video. We love you. Bye.
We love you.